Well, welcome back to the journey of the Walt Brown hydroplate controversy. There's been allegations of plagiarism that I think is keeping this theory from being embraced worldwide because it's making accurate predictions. That's why we're doing this. I just can't for the life of me figure out why a scientist, especially a Christian scientist, wouldn't want to look at a biblical theory that makes accurate predictions. Why is that being ignored? That just makes no sense to me. Besides, well, Walt Brown's not a geologist, Just stay in your lane. Let us do the heavy lifting. We're the ones who make the discoveries. That's about the only reason what I can think. But anyhow, so again, there's a theory that makes accurate predictions and it's being ignored, and we're trying to get it into the mainstream. And that's why we are putting all this out there. We're putting out all the documents. You can take a look at them for yourself and decide who's in the right and who's in the wrong and what should happen with a theory that makes accurate predictions. Because this has been stewing for 30 years. And it's such a shame, such a tragedy that people couldn't work together. They couldn't recognize Walt Brown's gift of a researcher and a discoverer, and how he tied all these things from different areas of sciences together and answers so many unanswered questions. They just ignored him because he wasn't an expert or a geologist, which is really sad. And so because of that, the cause of creation, the cause of Christ has suffered. And so we'll just keep working through these documents. And I'll show you where to get them. You go into, the routine, go into hydroplate.org. And then go down to hydroplate resources, hydroplate controversy, and up to the top is the hydroplate timeline. And it's really cool because you get a timeline. And so you can go through, and we read a lot of these letters. Some of them we might have missed at the beginning because I didn't know about this cool tool. And so here we go. How far are we helping or hurting? Correspondence, Grand Canyon. Let's see. We're just going to click one of these. Holroyd's work. Let's see, we did the 2000. Oh, maybe we didn't. We didn't do that one, I don't think. So we're going to start. We did this one for sure. Brown's 8th edition. We did that one for sure. Correspondence between who? Lee and Whitmore we did. Yeah, what else did we do? Vardamer we did. Okay, Vardaman we did. That one's in there twice for some reasons. Robinson we did. John Morris we did, Lee and Holroyd, Lee and Ford, Lee and AIG. That's what we did just last time. Austin Correspondence, 8/10, 2009. Okay, this is Monday. Oh, this is Monday, July 6th. Here we go. Okay, correspondence history between Pastor Lee and Steve Austin pertaining to Pastor Kevin Lee's July 6, 2009 letter documenting Dr. Austin's plagiarism and poor science being featured in AIG's museum. Revision 1, September 1st, 2009 to document Pastor Kevin's attempt to contact Dr. Austin by phone. Revision 2 to document Pastor Kevin's face-to-face meeting with Dr. Austin on September 10th, 2009 at the Seattle Creation Conference where he was a speaker. Ooh, that's going to be rather interesting. Okie doke. Let's take a look at what happened here. We're just going to read it right from here. July 6, 2009. Dear Dr. Austin, I have attached a preliminary letter that I believe requires your very careful attention and response. It documents your plagiarism of Dr. Brown's work on the Grand Canyon. More importantly, how your actions have had such detrimental effect on the creation science movement. Whoa. Joe Ballard of the Jesus Name Productions told me that on August 3rd, 2008 at the ICC conference, you responded to his question about what he had heard about your plagiarism with the statement that it was Brown who had plagiarized your work and that you can prove it. Dr. Austin, now is the time to refute my letter and provide the proof. This preliminary version is intended to provide you with the opportunity to dispute with documentation the allegations contained in the letter and its attachments. As you read it, you will see that the letter and attachments contain links to documents which contain your own words, which prove that you plagiarized Dr. Brown. But I want to give you every opportunity to correct me if I have misunderstood the matter in any way. If you can provide documentation showing where I have erred, I will make the necessary corrections. If you cannot, and others who are also being solicited for rebuttal and comment cannot, then the attached letter with its attachments will be posted at our website as written. It will also be distributed to about 200 creationist organizations with a website presence. You may note that some of the links are not yet active, but they will be by the time of actual posting in early August. I encourage you to stop digging a deeper hole and instead start taking steps that can undo the damage you have already caused the creation science community. For example, on May 6, 2008, Dr. Brown sent you a copy of EndNote 34 in his Grand Canyon chapter. This was a month before it was placed in the 8th edition. Brown offered to correct any errors you could identify or remove the entire endnote if you publicly corrected the record. Unfortunately, you ignored this offer. Now 30,000 copies of that are in print, not to mention on the internet. Many people are reading it. I will be leaving for Africa tomorrow and will not return until July 25th. Feel free to respond now if you wish. Some of my assistants are very familiar with the material and may be able to assist you and others that are receiving this preliminary letter. However, some matters may have to wait till I return. Sincerely, Pastor Kevin Lee. The above email was sent to a known good address for Dr. Austin. It did not bounce. The email was backed up by a certified letter sent to Dr. Austin's mailing address. The certified letter was not returned to our church. The certified letter was returned to our church with a note from the post office that Dr. Austin refused to accept it. Dr. Austin has not responded to the email. Revision September 1. On September 1, I called Dr. Austin at his home phone number. Dr. Austin answered the call. I identified myself as Pastor Kevin Lee from Calvary Church of Porch Orchard. He responded, "Hey, I got to go. Sorry. Bye," and then hung up. On October 10th, I had a face-to-face meeting with Dr. Austin during the lunch break for the Seattle Creation Conference. I introduced myself as Pastor Kevin Lee, and he stated that I had heard from a friend that Dr. Austin wanted to talk with me, and now was a good time if he agreed. The following were highlights of the conversation. Wow, he's pretty bold. He asked what we could talk about. I said we could start by discussing the need for him to come clean on his plagiarism, which is resulting in bad science at Ken Ham's AIG Museum. He did not deny the plagiarism. He contended that the entire issue was a matter of hearsay and gossip. I countered that it was not, and that it was all documented at our website using Dr. Austin's own letters and words to prove his plagiarism and bad science now on display in the AIG Museum. I also informed him that many people are reading the written record and are becoming aware of his actions based on Google searches, which is why it's so important for him to start setting the record straight himself. Dr. Austin stated that he and Dr. Brown had signed an agreement about the dispute, implying that everything had been settled between him and Brown. I countered that a final resolution agreement was never signed and that the dispute was not resolved because Dr. Austin's refused to correct the record. Dr. Austin then clarified that he and Dr. Brown had both signed the mediation agreement. I agreed, but pointed out that he then quickly violated the agreement by refusing to put an errata sheet in the unsold books, and also refused to change the name of Canyonlands Lake back to Grand Lake, which was the name he plagiarized from Dr. Brown and used in his own publication for over 2 years. Austin countered that the mediator only recommended that he change the name to Grand Lake. I then reminded him that the mediator's first letter directed him to change the name to Grand Lake because it was Brown who discovered and named it. But after the first letters, Dr. Austin bombarded the mediator with pages of federal requirements pertaining to the naming of lakes, which don't apply to extinct lakes. Only then did the mediator defer, as a lawyer thinking he might have the authority to mandate a lake name. But again, told Austin that he thought Austin should change the name of the lake to Grand Lake. I challenged Dr. Austin that his use of federal requirements about the lake names was nothing more than a ploy to cover up his plagiarism. He did not refute this statement. Dr. Austin made other attempts to deflect my concerns by making additional false statements, which I countered with the facts as documented in his own letters. I told him that I was soon going to be informing 200 creation organizations about our posted documentation. He then stated, "You know more about this than I do," and walked off. This face-to-face meeting with Dr. Austin followed my meeting with Larry Vardaman. In that meeting, I learned that some of the false statements made by Vardaman in his letter to me were because he had been misled by Dr. Austin. Dr. Austin's propensity to try to deceive and make false statements during my interaction with him sheds light on why ICR managers have also spread so many false statements for so long. I pray the day will come when truth prevails in the creation movement. This revision 2 updates what was sent to Dr. Austin, Dr. Henry Morris, and Dr. Larry Vardaman for their comment before posting. They all chose not to respond. Wow. Wow, little fireworks there. Next, it's going to be Mark Looney letter to Kevin. That's going to be July 27th. I think we're going to stop this one. We're going to stop. This one's going to be short and sweet. And this is going to be called, what are we going to call this one? Austin Fireworks. Face to face. Oh boy, that Pastor Lee, he is very bold. He is very persistent. And he does not back down. Wow. So here we go. Yeah, we're going to shut that down. And again, the reason we're doing this is to get a theory that makes accurate predictions into the mainstream. You know, for the life of me, I still cannot figure out why a theory that makes accurate predictions is not being considered, and it's just being ignored. And for the sake of science and Christianity, we are trying to bring this, shed some light on it. And we're shedding light on all the documents that I think are the reason for it being blackballed. And it's not because of science, it's because of who knows what. And so we encourage people to get involved and start asking questions. A big question is, hey, what accurate predictions have you made? Okay, and what biblical support do you have for your model? And why aren't you using a theory that makes accurate predictions, especially since you haven't made any predictions? And can people be hydroplate supporters in your organization and not get blackballed? Can somebody make a hydroplate theory and you'll still use them to make future videos? Or is there a subtle threat there? Anyhow, we will stop that one now. This will be the shortest one. Okay, a little fireworks action. Yeah, the plot thickens. Pastor Lee stirs the soup. And it's going to be interesting to see, which creation museum is going to allow people to think first. Because you need to see two theories, two sides if you want to think. Otherwise, you just memorize. And that's what the blind chancers and big bangers do, and evolutionists. They just have a blind chance perspective. And if you don't go along with it, you flunk or you get blackballed. And Christians should have a higher standard. We should set the example for them. It's like, yeah, we got a theory, but there's another theory out there. Let's put them up there and let people think about it. Giving people the opportunity to think is a good thing. Come, let us reason together, saith the Lord. And the Creation Museum that does that the first, who allows people to think about flood models, I suspect that their donations will go up. They want the truth. They're not pushing their brand. They're not pushing their books. They're pushing the truth. And the hydroplate theory is a very effective, powerful weapon in evangelism because it can logically and scientifically explain how Grand Canyon formed and the global flood. Okay, so with that, we're going to cut you loose. This is going to have been a lot of fun. We will come back to some more documents.